Now, recently, I just landed a sales gig or an offer that most people would consider a dream offer in terms of like the actual influencer that we're selling for and the actual opportunities available to be able to make a really, really high level of income. So I'll walk you through, who I'm selling, what I'm selling, the different packages available. I'll walk you through what my current schedule is because at the moment I am selling on two offers, one on the Australian time zone and one in Eastern Standard time zone. And then I'll also walk you through my plan to crush it. So essentially, I'm selling for Dan Henry, which I just onboarded to that offer on Monday. Anyone who's been around this online space for a while knows that Dan Henry is a legend and that he's had quite a few different offers. So the offer that I'm on specifically is getclients.com. And there's obviously an array of different products that we can sell that's available. But essentially, I guess the different tickets is anywhere from like 5K, 8K, 25K, 50K. There's all a bunch of different tickets, right? Those are all the different offers available to actually go about and sell. And those are a mixture of like live events, coaching, like one-on-one stuff, in-person stuff. There's a bunch of different avenues that we can actually go in terms of, upselling people. But I guess the main offer that they currently have, or the main subscription that people are actually on is like this $97 a month offer. So it's like a low ticket offer. It's called getclients.com University. And essentially it's like they teach you all the necessary tools to actually go ahead and get your first few clients. And then obviously there's an ascension on the back end where, once you get your first few clients, you can start looking at the scalability. And then obviously they have back-end products for you in order to actually help you scale past those first few clients to, your first couple of million, for example. Now, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of all the different products, but those are all the different products available. And, it's really cool to see that I was able to land an offer like that against people who are way more experienced than me. And the reason that I was able to land that offer, which I sort of touched on in previous videos, was because of my network. Like the people that I knew, the people I'd provided value to throughout the past couple of years. Someone that's in my network who's also a really close friend of mine had a podcast with Dan Henry, and then he actually had a conversation with him, and it just came about that, Dan Henry was looking for a sales rep. So essentially, he put my name in the hat, had an interview with the COO, had a follow-up interview the following day, and then I got the job offer at the end of it. Now, at that point in time, I had like 3 or 4 different job offers in terms of people wanting to come sell for them because I did what I would consider pretty well in the interview process. However, I pretty much gave them an answer at the end of that call, being like, yeah, man, just get me in. Like, I want to come sell for you guys, and I'm happy to turn away the other offers. And that's because I know the opportunities that are available, not just in terms of the income that I'd actually be making on that offer, but the connections, the network, and the relationships that I could actually build on the back end as well. The income's obviously going to be a lot. And historically, like I spoke to the COO, like their offers, they've had closes anywhere from making 40 grand a month to 50 grand a month, and that's in US. So the potential is there to actually be able to make a good level of income. However, it's not going to be that cushy sit on the beach, kick your feet up, take 5 inbound calls a day, and then, you're just going to print money out the sky. It's going to be long days, but, I understand, and I'm actually on board with that journey. So I understand that's going to be the reality if I'm going to want to make a high level of income. So that's sort of what that looks like regarding the actual offer. I want to walk you through what my schedule looks like on a day-to-day basis, because I'm sure there's probably a couple of reps that are actually watching this, curious as to how I'm balancing living on the other side of the world along with my other stuff, like my personal life, as well as the selling and like all that sorts of things. So in regards to my schedule, so I wake up at around 5 to 6 a.m. Essentially, the first thing that I sort of do is I have like a quick meal, something light, walk to the gym, go to the gym, come back, have another meal. By then, it's around 10 a.m. So it's around 10 a.m., have a quick shower, and then I get stuck into some work for a bit. And essentially, my schedule is going to be like working from 10:30/11 a.m. through till midnight. So about 13-hour days, and that's a mixture of doing stuff like this, like content, actually calling people, actually taking calls, following up. And my schedule will essentially look like 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. or to 6 p.m. I'll be on the US offer, and then 6 p.m. to 12 a.m., like midnight, I'll be on the Australian offer. So other than like my morning routine in terms of actually going to the gym, walking to and from the gym, like other than that and eating, my schedule's pretty basic. But my workday starts around 10:30, 11 a.m. up until midnight. As I mentioned, if I have calls on, that's all right. I'll do follow-ups. But then also as well, like I also make time for role plays. Now it's not always the case that I go to bed at midnight. Like I might have something, like I might not go straight to bed, might get some role play in after midnight, but that's what the schedule looks like. Anywhere from I guess 12 to 13 hours. Now I wouldn't necessarily say that's 12 to 13 hours of doing income producing activities. That's just a mixture of, all those things that I mentioned. Like, I guess some of them could be considered income producing, but that's what it looks like in terms of my schedule. Now, the reason I'm on 2 offers, like I don't plan on being on 2 offers forever because it's not going to be sustainable for me to, I really don't want to be staying up till midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. taking calls on an Australian offer. And I do want to start prioritizing my sleep. But as of late, I've only been sleeping like anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. I haven't really slept 6 hours too much while I've been here. It's mostly been around that 3 to 4 hour mark. So, I mean, it's okay for me. Like I'm not exhausted or anything, but again, that's not sustainable. Being able to sustain that over, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So it's just the period I'm in where I'm on 2 offers because I want to increase the level of income drastically. So obviously if I'm taking more calls, having more conversations, selling more things, then I'm more likely to actually make more money. So that's why I'm on 2 offers. However, my plan is to transition out of the Australian one at some point so that I can actually be on a normal schedule and I'm not having to stay up and burn the midnight oil in order to take some calls. Because, I could make a decent level of income alone with just the US one. However, it is something that I don't mind doing at this point in time because, I have more than enough time right now. Now, there is a current sales rep on the offer that I'm on. And like I would consider that they're trained pretty well, but like from what I've seen, the call recordings I've watched, the notes I've seen in the pipeline, and the amount of deals that are being closed, I'm sort of noticing that, she is making I think a good level of income. However, the work ethic just seems to not be there to the level or to the extent that it should be. So essentially my plan to come in and actually crush it on this offer. So obviously I just onboarded yesterday in terms of getting access to all the things I need. So after this call, I'm going to be practicing the pitch 5 to 10 times a day, going through that. Because like in terms of the sales framework, like the sales framework never changes. I mean, I guess the pain points just might change in terms of how you tailor that conversation, but the framework never changes in terms of like how I sort of run a sales call. And I proved that this morning. Like I jumped on a call with this guy who runs like an agency, helps people, I guess, generate an inbound system that helps them not only build a profile and a brand on Twitter, but helps them generate revenue from their Twitter brand instead of just aimlessly tweeting. He helps create systems. So essentially I got him to tell me in 30 seconds what he does, and I sold it back to him. And like in his words, essentially, he was pretty happy with how I went about it, and like it didn't even feel like a sales conversation to him. He said it felt just like a genuine conversation. And that's how you want your sales conversation to actually feel. So yeah, my plan to crush it, as I mentioned, practice the pitch 5 to 10 times a day and really make sure that I actually go ahead and dial that in. I got to listen to some more sales calls just to understand the avatars and the different types of scenarios that I'm selling to people, to understand that where they're actually coming from. So I know how to tailor the conversation specifically, because depending on the level that they're at would depend on where you take the conversation. Anyone from 0 to 1 to 1 to 10, it's about more money. Anyone that's from 10 to 100, it's typically about like legacy, status, saving time, those types of conversations. So that's what I'm sort of going through, just making sure I get enough data on what the types of conversations are. And then in terms of like crushing it from other avenues, is I'm going to go in all the no-shows, all the cancellations, all the no sales. I want to go back and hit all the leads that she never turned into sales, and I'm going to see if things have changed, and if they're still keen on having a conversation, I'll get them booked into my calendar and see if I can sell them instead. Because the thing is that when you come on an offer, you want to try to get some quick wins for the business owner to show you're competent. And the way you can go about getting quick wins, instead of just being a baby bird, like please give me some leads, like please give me some inbound, you can just go on the low hanging fruit, like people who had already had conversations, people who might be on a low ticket offer, all those types of people. You can just go and have a conversation with them instead of feeling as though you just have to rely on the things that get booked into your calendar. Because I guess that's the main thing, is that the current rep, they're getting inbound leads and they're getting booked into their calendar, but they're not closing as many as they should be. So I don't think they're getting many calls anymore in terms of inbound. And like the expectation is that, yes, I'm going to be getting inbound, but they also want me to go out and hunt for it. So that's my plan in terms of maximizing, I guess, the low hanging fruit. And then just, I guess, from a personal perspective as well, just making sure I'm doing my core reviews. Like when I have the time, core review, why didn't I sell this person? What can I do better for the next time? And then go into the mindset for the next call or the next day that this is where my focus is at, because that's how I'm going to get that tight feedback loop. Getting self-feedback from myself and then getting feedback from the COO. Hey, what do you think I did well? What do you think I didn't do well? What do you think I can actually improve on? Because there's something I noticed about the current rep as well. When I listen to her calls, like there's a question. So the first question that essentially we ask in the script after you have like maybe a little, like 30 seconds to a minute of small talk, it's like, hey, so aside from XYZ, like what are you looking for specifically? So she essentially asked that question, and then 16, 17 minutes into the call, she still hadn't got an answer. And the reason she hadn't got an answer, because she kept waffling. She would ask a question and then she would start answering the question herself. Just super weird. I don't think she felt as confident in the sales process, maybe at least on this specific call that I watched. So that's why I'm going to make sure I place an emphasis on doing the core reviews. So essentially, how my plan to crush it is to make sure I'm practicing the pitch so I can nail the pitch in the fastest time as possible. Lean on the support team and the leadership team so I can get the feedback that I need. Make sure that I do the core reviews. Make sure that I actually go ahead and assess all the different low-hanging fruit. And then also as well, figure out like, I guess my particular strategy behind how I'm going to go about upselling, because the main offer that people are on currently is the low ticket $97 a month offer. I'm going to figure out a pathway forward in terms of how I can go about assisting those people and upselling them into the other offers that are available. Because the thing is, if someone gets a result on the $97 a month offer, get their first clients, get their first wins under the belt, I'm sure that they'll be more than happy to go into the next level up so that they can actually get that extra level of support and extra level of accountability so they can get a better result. Anyways, that's the update on the journey so far. Obviously, I haven't taken any calls yet. I've got to get ramped up, got to make sure that I actually know who I'm selling to, how I'm going to sell it, that type of thing. But also, I'm doing some role plays. So I've already done a couple role plays in terms of, how to actually go about selling it. So I'm getting comfortable in terms of how I'm going to go about selling it. But essentially, over the next few days, hit those low-hanging fruits, try get some calls in my calendar, try get some wins under the belt for the business owner. If you have any other questions, guys, feel free to go ahead and shoot them over to me. I'll be happy to answer them. You can shoot them over Twitter, which will be linked in the description. Shoot them over to Instagram, and I'll respond back with a voice note, and I'll be happy to help you out. Or if you have any ideas as to the specific content that you want to see, I'm open to doing that as well. But yeah, guys, appreciate you checking in. Bye.